Today's storyteller is June. This incident happened around 2019, recounted to June by a long-standing client, Ms. Zhang, with whom Jun worked closely for years. Zhang is a Beijing native, works at a cosmetics company. Now she's the youngest mid-level manager in the company. At work, besides being in charge of new product development, she also has to travel frequently to develop new clients and maintain old ones. Especially in 2018 and 2019, Zhang was extremely busy and exhausted, never home all year round. Zhang's husband is a Beijing policeman, works at a local precinct. The couple got married in 2014, and their relationship is very good. But because both are so busy, life is mostly spent apart. After 4 years of marriage, they still haven't had children. Both sets of parents are anxious and keep urging, "We know you're busy and stressed. After the child is born, we'll help you raise it." The couple, in the prime of their careers, want to push harder while young. So, at the time, they had no plans to have a child. But neither of them expected that a sudden bizarre incident would completely change their minds. At the end of December 2018, Zhang originally planned to spend New Year's at home with her husband. Yet, as the year-end approached, her husband suddenly got an emergency assignment. He had to be on duty the entire last week of the year. Then, the company's factory had a production line failure. Zhang had to rush over to handle it. In the end, the two had to be apart again, wishing each other a happy new year from afar. Because this business trip was arranged last minute, she had to leave the next morning. The staff hurriedly booked her a high-speed rail ticket. When she saw the train number on the e-ticket, she frowned. It was the exact same train she had taken 2 months earlier on her previous trip, when her purse had been stolen. Inside had been several thousand yuan in cash and all her documents. She blamed herself for being careless. Exhausted, she had placed the bag casually beside her seat after stowing her luggage, then fallen asleep. Someone got off midway and stole it. More painful, the bag itself was a 1-year anniversary gift from her husband, unique, irreplaceable. Over the years, she had treasured that bag like gold. On the train, she nearly broke down, immediately sought help from the attendant, reported it to police. Surveillance confirmed that while she slept, a middle-aged woman carrying a child had stolen the bag. On camera, the woman looked furtive, holding a sleeping toddler, snatching the bag when no one noticed. Because high-speed rail is real name, the police traced the ID and found the woman's registered village. Local officers said, after her husband died a few years back, she left the village and hadn't been seen since. Though police had leads, they had no idea where she'd gone. They assured Zhang they would keep looking and notify her if there was news. 2 months passed and the case remained cold. Who knew the staff would book the same train again? After boarding, she sat in her seat, unable to stop replaying the unhappy incident. The more she thought, the more upset she became. She tried to distract herself with her phone, but her mind wandered. New Year's was around the corner, and she couldn't even share a meal at home with her husband. She had to travel. The more she thought, the worse she felt. Every frustration flooded in. She didn't know why her emotions suddenly surged. She felt wronged, and tears fell. Once the crying started, she couldn't stop. Afraid of disturbing other passengers, she held it in. The harder she tried, the more it hurt. At that moment, a female attendant quietly approached and whispered, "Ma'am, is something wrong? Can I help?" Only then did Zhang realize she'd lost composure. She rubbed her eyes, embarrassed. "It's nothing. I am just in a bad mood. Thank you." The attendant nodded kindly. "If you need help, let me know." Before boarding, she wore makeup. Now she worried it was smudged. She took out a compact mirror, tissues, facial cleanser, planning to go to the restroom to wash up and reapply. Crying, she hadn't noticed the occupancy light. When she reached the door, it showed occupied. She waited outside. Suddenly, she felt someone tug her coat hem. She looked down. A little boy, not tall, looked about 5. Thin, but with a round face. Big eyes, long lashes, very cute. He wore an adorable cap with tiny angel wings on the sides. While tugging her coat lightly with one hand, he tilted his head and looked up at her timidly. Before Jung could speak, the boy asked in a small voice, "Hi there, why are you crying?" His voice was soft, but Jung felt an inexplicable warmth at the first meeting. She squatted down, forced a gentle smile, and gently patted the child's cheek. "Little one, I cried, that's not good. Don't copy." "Okay." The child blinked. "Excuse me, are you sad? It's okay to cry. If you're sad, crying helps." He fished out a white rabbit candy from his pocket and handed it to her. "This is my favorite. When I feel sad, Mom gives me this. It's super sweet, makes me happy." Looking at the thin, adorable face, Jing's nose stung. Such a thoughtful child, how wonderful to have a baby like him. She nodded hard, took the candy in both hands, and reached out to hug him. The boy seemed shy, stepped half a step back, leaning against the carriage wall by the restroom. Jung thought he was embarrassed and didn't force the hug. "Thank you, sweetie. You're a good boy. I feel better now. What's your name? How old are you?" The boy smiled. "My name is Xiao Yu, I'm 5. Jing's heart melted. Such a well-behaved child. "Xiao Yu, where are your parents? Why are you here alone? Do you need the restroom?" The boy shook his head. "I don't need the toilet. I'm just playing by myself." Jung was puzzled. "Why are you playing alone? Where is your mom?" Xiao Yu said, "Mom always plays cards. She doesn't like playing with me." As he spoke, he lowered his head, and fingers fiddling with his hem. The wings on his cap wobbled. Jing's heart ached. Mom ignored the boy for cards. She continued, "So where are you getting off?" Xiao Yu blinked. "Where are you getting off?" Jung said, "I'm getting off at Shai." Xiao Yu said, "I'm also getting off at Shai." What a coincidence. "May I sit with you for a while?" Jung said, "Sure." The seat beside her was empty. "Let's go back to my seat. When we're almost there, I'll take you to your mom." Xiao Yu beamed and nodded politely. "Thank you. Sorry to trouble you." Back at the seat, Xiao Yu sat with hands on knees. Jung asked, "Do you like cartoons?" Xiao Yu said, "I do." She unlocked her phone, found an episode, and played it for him. Xiao Yu held the phone quietly without a word. Jung asked, "Are you thirsty or hungry? Want anything? I can buy it. I have snacks." She took out snacks. Xiao Yu shook his head. "No, thank you." The whole ride, Xiao Yu sat beside her, swaying his head silently, watching the cartoon. He didn't say much, but Jung noticed he kept gently touching the Angry Bear keychain on her phone. While watching, he kept stroking it. She asked, "Do you like this? I will give it to you." Xiao Yu looked up, surprised. She unhooked the charm and pressed it into his hand. "It's yours." Xiao Yu said softly, "Thank you. I love it." Along the way, they didn't talk much, but Jung felt genuinely happy. The bad memories of this train vanished. She felt for the first time that having such a cute child must be wonderful. Work stress would melt at the sight of that smile. As the train neared Shai Station, Jung said, "We're almost there. Let me take you out to your mom." Hearing this, Xiao Yu quickly handed back the phone, jumped off the seat like a little rabbit, darted through the standing passengers, toward the rear of the train, waving his winged cap. "Bye. No need to see me off." Before Jung could react, the boy was gone. She wanted to follow, but the aisle was packed with people grabbing luggage. The little boy disappeared. Her own luggage was still at her seat. She returned to carry it, then walked carriage by carriage toward the rear no sign of Xiaoyu. She worried, but told herself the child seemed more mature than most and he must have found his mom and got off. After getting off, she went on to her work. But during the following days, she often thought of Xiaoyu. She never expected that brief encounter would leave such a fond impression. The night before returning to Beijing, she had a dream about the boy. She felt herself in a cramped, pitch-black, narrow space, stacked with cabbages. Many white rabbit candies lay on the top of the cabbages. A cellar. In the dream she tried to see, there was a small figure wearing a winged cap in front of her sight. She felt her way in the darkness. Xiaoyu, where is this? Xiaoyu, what are you doing here? Where is your mom? No matter how she called, the child didn't answer. She woke in a panic. She wondered if meeting Xiaoyu had stirred her maternal instinct. After finishing her trip, she went home and told her husband everything. After hearing it, he said, "We're busy, but it looks like it's time to put having a baby on the agenda." 2 weeks later, mid-January 2019, Zhang had to go to Shanghai again. This time she booked the ticket by herself. The most convenient train turned out to be the same one. Previously, she'd hated this number, but after meeting Xiaoyu, the bad memories vanished. So she booked without hesitation. That day, she was in such a rush she didn't have time to eat something. On the train, she bought instant noodles. As she carried the cup toward the hot water dispenser, she felt someone staring. She looked down delighted surprise. "Xiaoyu, you're here too? Going to Shanghai with mom again?" She set the cup on the counter and knelt to hug him. Again, Xiaoyu stepped back slightly. "Xiaoyu, I have been thinking about you. Last time you ran off so fast, I was worried." Xiaoyu blinked his eyes. "Thank you. No one's ever cared about me like this." Jing's heart twisted. How can no one care about you? Such a small child should be carefree. Yet he carried a sorrow beyond his years. Zhang set the noodles aside and listened, as Xiaoyu told her in a tiny voice. "My parents divorced when I was 3. Dad has a new wife and a little sister. He doesn't want me. Mom has a boyfriend, who whenever the boyfriend comes, Mom makes me hide in the stairwell next door all night. Mom loves cards and hardly looks after me. When she goes out, she leaves me bread and yogurt and cartoons." Hearing this, Zhang couldn't hold back. Squatting before him, tears streaming, she said, "Silly boy, how can you say that? You're wonderful. Where is your mom? Take me to her. I need to talk to her. We'll call the police. This is abuse." Xiaoyu, startled, jerked free, stared up with wide eyes. "Don't be angry. Don't go. Where is your mom?" "My mom isn't on the train." Zhang froze. "Not on the train? Then who brought you?" Xiaoyu didn't answer, just stared. A chill crept up her spine. She realized twice on the same train she'd met this child, both times alone. Stranger still, the boy's gentle sadness felt otherworldly. Xiaoyu looked up, eyes brimming. "I know you're good. Please help me. Mom's not on the train. I'll give you an address, my home. Can you tell Mom to call the police? Say I'm trapped in a cellar." Which cellar? Zhang shivered. Cellar. Instantly recalled the dream 2 weeks ago. The narrow cellar, piled with white rabbit candies. She gaped, terrified. Xiaoyu recited an address in Beijing's district, then spun and dashed into the restroom. Zhang rushed after door, unlocked, stall empty. The child had vanished. Shaking, she barely made it back to her seat. Had fatigue caused hallucinations? But her phone's notes app was open, the address typed. She tried not to think. After returning home, she told her husband everything. His face darkened. "He truly needs help. You have the address. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'll go to check. Jung, though scared, couldn't let her husband go alone. They decided to go together on Saturday. Early Saturday, they drove to the address. They knocked. A woman in silk pajamas, long curly hair, opened the door. Before Jung could see her face clearly, a wave of cloying perfume hit. The woman looked about their age. Though in pajamas, she was heavily made up, deep red lipstick, thick eyeliner, as if she'd just left a nightclub without removing makeup. In a husky, lazy voice, she asked, "Who are you looking for?" Her husband said, "Does a little boy named Xiao Yu live here?" At the name Xiao Yu, the woman shuddered. "Who are you? Do you know Xiao Yu? Where did you see him? When?" Her voice suddenly urgent. Jung asked to come inside. The woman hurriedly invited them in, offered seats, some water. Jung scanned the apartment, nicely decorated. She asked about Xiao Yu. The woman said, "I'm his mother." She showed photos on her phone. Jung recognized the boy from the train. The woman said, "Xiao Yu is my son. He went missing 2 months ago. I've been searching non-stop. Do you have news?" Jung stared at the heavily made-up woman, claiming her son had been lost for 2 months yet. She looked like she'd just come from clubbing. Her husband, experienced, asked, "How did he go missing?" The woman let out a heavy sigh, her eyes rimmed red. "Xiao Yu, such a sensible, sweet boy, I let him down." She turned to Jung. "Where exactly did you see my child?" Jung answered, "I met Xiao Yu on the train. He gave me this address and begged me to find you. But first you need to tell me how he disappeared. Only then can I tell you everything we know." The woman hesitated, chewing her lip, shame flickering across her face. "It's all my fault. After I divorced Xiao Yu's dad, I raised the kid on my own. He was only 3 when we split. I used to work nightclubs, met his father there, and I loved that man so much I hid my whole past. But paper can't wrap fire, he found out. He exploded, called me every filthy name, even accused me of passing off someone else's child as his. Turns out he'd already been cheating. He just wanted an excuse to dump us. The whole scene was a setup." Her teeth clenched so hard the porcelain cup in her hand cracked, then shattered on the floor, making Jung flinch. This woman suddenly looked half mad. Tears streamed down her face as she sobbed. "I failed my son, Xiao Yu. Ever since he was little, he understood that mommy and daddy were no longer together. He'd tiptoe around the apartment, never asking for toys, never making a fuss. He'd just curl up in a corner with his toy cars, whispering to himself so I wouldn't feel worse. I drowned my own pain in mahjong, chasing one smoky table after another, night after night, just to numb the ache. And every time I left Xiao Yu behind. There were nights I'd dash out without even thinking to cook, just toss the kid to slices of bread and a couple of yogurts and call it dinner. Looking back, I was less than human." She continued, "Then I met a new man. He treated me well, but he made it clear he couldn't stand kids. I was so desperate to keep him that I lied outright, said my ex and I had no children. Every time he comes here, I'd make Xiao Yu hide in the next building's stairwell all night. Xiao Yu always does as I told. I chose a man over my own child, love blind, heart stupid." Listening to every word, Jing's chest ached for Xiao Yu, an ache so sharp she felt her own heart bruise. A wild impulse flared. She wanted to grab the woman by the shoulders and slap her hard once, twice, until the sting matched the boy's loneliness. In that moment she knew, bone deep, this woman had forfeited the right to call herself Xiao Yu's mother. Then Xiao Yu's mom said, 2 months earlier, after my boyfriend left one morning, I called Xiao Yu, but couldn't find him anywhere. I feared he'd wandered off. I didn't call police, afraid my boyfriend would discover I had hidden a 5-year-old son. I'd been living in torment." Her husband turned to the woman, voice hard with urgency. You have to report this to the police right now. How could you not? Has anyone phoned the house demanding ransom? The woman flinched, eyes wide. No, no one's called. Do you think my son's been kidnapped or trafficked? Zhang was so furious she could have hurled the whole glass of water in the woman's face and stormed out right then. Her husband calmly told the woman about the train and counters. Then, voice icy as winter steel, Zhang laid it all out, every detail. Both train rides, Xiaoyu's words, the way he vanished into thin air inside the restroom, and the dream that followed. The woman's face crumpled. She screamed her son's name, swearing she'd never heard of any cellar. Yet when Zhang mentioned the white rabbit candies scattered inside that cellar, the mother's knees buckled. Those had always been Xiaoyu's favorite. The couple urged her to report. The woman finally agreed. They drove her to the station. The police took statements, told them to go home. That night, the husband was called in for an emergency shift, leaving Zhang alone. Exhausted, she went to bed early and dreamed again of the cellar. Same narrow space, rotting cabbage, white rabbit candies. This time Xiaoyu turned when she called. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. He bowed deeply. Zhang's heart broke. Xiaoyu, I'm not mad. We found your mom. She called police. Don't worry. Xiaoyu explained. The woman, the bag thief, abducted him from the stairwell early one morning. On the train, he briefly woke, saw the woman carrying him. He asked for water and passed out again. When he woke, he was in the cellar. He cried. The woman gave him white rabbit, said behave and he'd get candy daily. He wanted his mom. The woman said mom was busy. He kept crying. The woman got angry, finally smothered him. Afterwards, afraid. She bought candy every day and scattered it in the cellar to appease his spirit. Zhang asked for the cellar's location. Xiaoyu said he didn't know. Wandering after death, he somehow boarded the same train twice and met her. He added, the woman who took me also stole your bag while you were asleep. At those words, Zhang's blood ran cold. She had never imagined Xiaoyu could know her purse had been stolen. It hit her like a slap. Had that theft been the thread stitching their fates together? Inside the pitch-black cellar, she groped beside the boy. Rotting cabbages and scattered white rabbit candies crunched underfoot. Empty bottles and crushed cartons lay like forgotten relics. In a far corner, she spotted a torn-open courier box, its shipping label half-peeled. She fished out a crumpled sheet. Only a sliver of light leaked from nowhere. Yet she made out a pharmacy receipt. Erica nut tetranitrate tablets. Below the blurred skew, she saw a phone number and a delivery address. Her eyes burned, head swam, and the world slipped sideways into black. Panic and hope collided. In the dream, she pressed the paper to her face, squinting, chanting the address under her breath so she wouldn't lose it. The darkness pressed back. Her eyes burned, head swam, and the world slipped sideways into black. Zhang jolted awake in her own bed, the sky outside still and dark. She sat bolt upright, heart hammering. Every detail of the dream felt branded into her mind, address and all. Fumbling for her phone, she keyed the address into a note, read it back aloud twice, then a third time, certain she hadn't lost a single character. Only after locking the screen did she feel her pulse still racing. Was Xiaoyu truly guiding her from beyond? Yet doubt crept in. Hand this address to the police and risk being labeled hysterical. She'd better wait for her husband to come home, then decide together. The next day, Sunday, her husband came home at noon. Zhang blurted out the dream the moment he stepped inside, half afraid he'd laugh. Instead, he cited a real 2008 TV case where a woman's dream helped solve a murder. Trust me, he said. He arranged for local classmates, veteran officers, to quietly investigate the address. A farmhouse with a cellar. Neighbors confirmed a reclusive woman matching the thief's description. In the end, officers hauled the woman in under the pretext of hunting a stolen backpack, only to crack open a murder case. The moment the cuffs clicked, her composure shattered. She wailed, sobbing that the boy had come back for her. Every night, she said, the child's ghost pressed on her chest. Guided by her frantic confession, detectives unearthed a small body from the cramped cellar beneath her courtyard. Rotting cabbages and scattered white rabbit candies lay exactly as Jung had dreamed. Beside the boy, they found a tiny angel wing cap and, clenched in his fingers, the Angry Bear keychain Jung had once slipped to him on the train. At the news, Jing's grief tore loose in a single, ragged cry. "My poor baby, you kept my gift all along. The police have the monster now. Sweetheart, rest easy, you can finally go home," the woman confessed. Back then, when she snatched Jing's purse on the high-speed train, the child she was cradling was a drugged, unconscious Xiaoyu. She'd trafficked children and Xiaoyu's death was accidental. She buried him, suffered nightmares, couldn't eat, bought white rabbit daily to calm his ghost. She planned to flee the south after one last kidnapping. After the case closed, Jung and her husband visited Xiaoyu's grave with offerings, a bag of white rabbit candies, and 5 new Angry Bear keychains. That night, Jung dreamed of Xiaoyu one last time. He no longer avoided her hug, and he held her, wiped her tears, whispered, "Thank you. I hope you'll be happy every day and never cry again." In 2019, Jung became pregnant. She and her husband finally realized how much they wanted a child. Their baby is now over 5 years old, healthy and always smiling. With today's Skynet cameras, facial recognition, DNA databases, and big data tracking, child traffickers have nowhere to hide. We believe every lost child will be found. May more broken families reunite. May no child ever be lost again.